Hi everyone, my name is Jenna Robinson. I'm an energy healing practitioner and teacher, and my passion is to help support people in releasing subconscious energies that are blocking them and keeping them from expressing and being and remembering how powerful and how wonderful they truly are. And today I have a video for you uh, that's going to speak to despair. And while that sounds really terrible, this is all about recognizing what if that despair isn't actually yours? And this was kind of spurred by a bad dream I had actually last night. So we had a storm, and the storm woke me up in the middle of the night and was crazy. It was just water, lightning everywhere. And I thought, okay, I'm in this middle of this storm and I feel kind of uncomfortable, but I'm tired, so I want to go back to bed. So I went back to bed. And then I woke up after having a bad dream, and it was as if I were still in college. I got a horrible grade. I think it was a C minus on an English test of mine. And I was despairing. I was thinking, how could this possibly be? Like, if I tried so hard and I got a C minus, like, what's the point? And I remember feeling deep despair, and this was a dream, mind you, so not even reality. My college days are thankfully behind me. But I felt that despair of not being able to change my current circumstance and feeling as if I were doing everything I could possibly do and it just wasn't good enough. And so I woke up after this dream and thought, what is my subconscious trying to tell me? And I remember I read or listened to a podcast maybe once and it really resonated with me, the idea or explanation that often our dreams, especially the bad ones, are our subconscious's way of trying to work through something that our conscious mind is not necessarily capable of handling at the moment. So it's kind of like problem solving through these bad dreams to come up with some type of resolution. I was like, okay, let's see. And so I when I felt this dream and this despair, I the old me would have been, fallen into this bad mood, being like, "Oh, what a terrible dream. I feel so bad. Like, what's going on?" And now, from where I am as an energy kind of detective and an energy healing practitioner, I immediately was like, okay, this is a moment for compassion for myself. I don't know where this energy is coming from. I don't know why I'm having this dream or feeling this despair, but I'm going to hold myself with compassion and allow myself to feel through this and figure out and release it. So that's what I do as an energy healing practitioner. And often these emotions, these feelings, these beliefs, this feeling of being stuck is an indicator that there's some energy that you're ready to release, and you're in the perfect position to do that. It's getting your attention. So what I like to do is do an exercise that helps us get into what we want to feel instead. So you can pause this video and grab like a piece of paper, a pencil, and a pen. And I'm going to walk you through the exercise. If you've already done this with me before, and I share it with a lot of clients and maybe in other videos, you can skip ahead and I'll leave in the notes below where you can kind of skip ahead to the next part. So I'm going to bring through an intuitive song transmission to help anchor in the energy of what you want to experience instead. So once you have that piece of paper, you're going to make a little T. So on the left-hand side, you can write down how I feel and then draw like a T. And then on the other side, the right side, you're going to write down how I want to feel instead. And what I do is I date these and I'll stick them on the wall or stick them in a place to come back to them and see how I'm progressing emotionally and how I feel. And am I coming into what I want to feel, or am I staying in what I don't want to feel? All right. So when you're feeling that despair or anger, or it can be any type of intense moment of feeling, you're going to write down what you feel. So, for example, maybe on the left hand side, you write despair. And then instead of making a huge list of what you're feeling at the moment, you're going to go back and forth. One emotion that you don't want to feel, one emotion that you do feel, and you're actually allowed to put down more than one positive emotion. But the trick is, you got to hold yourself to this, is only to write one negative for one positive. So the focus is identifying and focusing on what you want to experience instead, without falling into the cycle of all the negative ones. Even if they're there, you'll get to them. So let's say you're feeling despair and you want to feel relief. So you write relief on the right side, and then you can go back to other emotions that you're feeling. Maybe it's anger, so you write down anger, and then on the right hand side, you write how you want to feel. So maybe that is, and I'm just thinking of me, for example. So if I were angry, I would want to feel calm or at peace. So I'll write down at peace. Okay. Then you go back to another category on the left hand side. So something you're feeling. So when I was having that dream, I felt helpless. So I'm going to write down helpless. And then on the right hand side, I could write something like maybe confident. So you're going to keep doing this back and forth until you get through all of those emotions that you're currently feeling that are negative, or until you start making a huge list of how you want to feel instead. So for example, I could also write down on the right hand side that I want to feel my inner power. Let's say inner power. I want to feel happy. I want to feel capable, let's say, and on and on and on until you have a long list of positive emotions. And then you can affix it to the wall. You could put it in a place where you can see it and keep coming back to those positive emotions and things that you want to feel, because that's going to help drive what comes to you and what state you're in on a regular basis. So that's one exercise that I do. So now that you have all these positive emotions or positive things you want to feel and experience, I'm going to walk you through a song transmission. But before this, I just want to share one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this is because I was in this state of complete despair, and I've been there before, so I know what you're experiencing. And in that state of extreme despair, as uncomfortable as it was and as uncomfortable as it can be, it's also an opportunity, because chances are you're probably on the edge of a breakthrough yourself. Because when things get so uncomfortable that you have to do something about them, you can't possibly stay where you're at. That's your fuel. That's your fuel to get towards what it is you want to experience instead, and you're ready. So as uncomfortable as that is, I totally get it. But think of it in a way as like you're probably almost there. So what happens when you go through this list? You've got your positive emotions, you've got your list of negative ones that you're feeling. What happens if you go through this and you feel good for a while, but then you fall back into feeling that despair again? It can be super frustrating. And what I've noticed as an energy healing practitioner is that this despair, what's causing that, is not always yours. And what do I mean by that? So what I do is I identify often where are these energies coming from. Sometimes they come from ourselves. We've experienced something maybe in our childhood or maybe in adulthood, wherever, where we had some type of trauma, and not necessarily what we normally think of trauma. It could be our friend not wanting to play with us, or it could be some form of peer pressure. It can be something that we think is not so bad, but turns out it actually affected us quite deeply. So then we feel the sense of an emotion or a belief, and that gets stuck. And that keeps playing out, and we keep feeling that. Then it could also be that these energies could be the projected expectations and energies of others. It could be projected fear. It could be worry. It could literally be anything. If somebody else is in the state and you're close by and you're in a state where that energy kind of matches, you can actually absorb their feelings and energies, even if they weren't yours to begin with. So that can get stuck within us. Another thing is sometimes those feelings are actually like an indicator of something even deeper, which can be generational energies. And those can be passed down almost kind of like genetics. So if somebody was feeling, an ancestor was feeling terror or, hopelessness or despair, and that gets stuck in them, they can pass that on also to their descendants. And so you may be feeling something that's getting your attention that actually came down through the line, but you're in a position, hopefully a better one, to actually deal with them and release them. So that's why I say this is an opportunity. So these could be contributing to why you're feeling this despair, this combination of energies that may be your own, maybe other people's projected energies and generational energies. And these energetic blocks often feel impossible to overcome. But the good news is that it is possible to shift this energy. And guess what? I've done it. I've helped other people do it. And so I'm going to share with you what came out of something like this. So I'll give you an example of myself. And this was actually relatively recent. So when I did this exercise for myself, was like, what do I want to feel instead? And I wanted to feel a state of calm, relaxed, steady, good digestion, feeling really good, accomplished, and motivated. So it was kind of this big dream or big state of being I wanted for myself. And as I did some energetic investigating, I realized that there were some mix of energies contributing to me not feeling that way. One of them was some hidden abandonment. There were some beliefs like the need to sell myself. I wasn't meant to have lots of money. More abandonment that was from one side of my family, feeling of despair that came from another person in my family, and some stubbornness that was actually generational that went back like 17 generations, and other beliefs. And so after I released these energies, I felt so much calmer and relaxed, and that was initially what I had desired to feel. And so I was able to search for these, find where these blocks were coming from, and release this. So that was an example, like a personal example of myself doing that. Another example is one that I helped with a woman quite a few years ago, and she felt this illogical, not something thought in the mind, this fear and anxiety that was literally a 10 out of 10. She felt it couldn't get any worse. And her mom didn't know how to help her. She didn't know how to help herself. And so I took a look energetically to find out where could these be coming from. And it turns out that a lot of the energies that were contributing to her fear and anxiety were generational energies. And most of them happened to come from one side of her family, not all of them, but many, quite a few generations back. So between, 1 and 3 or 4 generations. And And only a couple of those trapped energies were actually her own. Some came from when she was a teenager, and some a little bit later in life. So what I'm saying is, what you're feeling could possibly be coming from your generational line, or it could be a mix of energies from your generational line, from yourself, or even other people's projected energies. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a way to release these energies. You don't have to feel stuck in this energy forever. And so I'm going to walk you through another exercise that really taps into the energy of what you want to experience instead, what you've written down on your sticky note list or your piece of paper. I'm going to walk you through how to energize and focus on what you want to feel instead, so that you can create that instead of falling into the patterns of going back into what you don't want to experience. So, and the other thing I want to mention is that sometimes the releasing of these energies can actually reveal more of your true self and more of the abilities and gifts that you have. For me, for example, by releasing a lot of this encapsulated, old, uncomfortable, generational energy, I was able to open up this kind of hidden gift of being able to bring through these intuitive song transmissions. So you are the direct benefit of me working on my own self. So think of all the amazing things that you can accomplish when you release these energies and feel and be more of yourself. I think it's just wonderful. So take a look at your sticky note or your piece of paper and what you wrote as wanting to feel positive instead. And you're going to sit with that, and you're going to try to conjure up, experience, feel, sense, even imagine or visualize what it would be like to feel that. So it's kind of as if we're going to dial into a radio station. You know, you move through the static and find, where's that sweet spot of the channel where that music or that is going to come through. So it could be that combination of relief, feeling at peace, confident, inner power, happy, capable. What would that feel like? So you're going to sit with that for a moment and dial into how that feels. When you get there, and you can also pause the video if you need a little bit more time, but when you get there, the next step is to turn up the volume on that feeling. So really amplify, how does that feel? And if you're a visual person, you can feel it kind of growing in your heart, and then almost like an explosion or a firework or something. You can imagine or picture it exploding out of your heart through the back, the sides, everywhere, and sending that energy out as if it's being sent out into your own life. So when you have that, you're gonna amplify that energy. And now I'm going to bring through an intuitive song transmission that helps to anchor in what it is that you're feeling and what it is that you want to experience. Here we go. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, my day, ooh, yeah, my do, yeah, my hey, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, me, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, me, ooh, yeah, me. Away, ay, away, away, ay, away, 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 So take a deep breath, take a moment, do a little stretch, move how you want to feel. What is your body wanting to do? How are you feeling? If you're feeling like the tears are coming, let them come. If you have a big grin on your face, let it be. If you want to laugh, go ahead and do that. Like, this is your space, your time, your healing. And if you want to go deeper and into your own healing, your own discovery of what could be those energies holding you back, keeping you stuck, feel free to connect with me. You can send me an email, and I'll leave that in the comments below. You can connect with me on social media, or you can schedule a breakthrough conversation with me to really find out what it is that's keeping you stuck and what it is that you prefer instead, and really getting into that preference and what you want to create. Feel free also, I would love it if you like this video. Comment below, how did you feel after this? What did you experience? And if it was useful for you, share it with somebody who you feel could benefit from it as well. And if you want to experience and watch more videos like this, do subscribe. So best wishes wherever you are in the world, and bye for now.